Orcust is an archetype that has fallen into the sands of time and out of the meta for many years. This deck is one that I hold close to my heart with many memories and fun moments. From the TCG release on October 19th, 2018 in Soul Fusion, Orcust had a rocky start, but over time, it became one of the strongest decks and engines in the game. With many generic cards being released like Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche and its own Orcust Nightmare to pair with Nightmare Mermaid, from a tier 0 deck to a tier 0 engine just off of 2 monsters alone. Orcust is part of an overarching story within the world of the World Legacy lore, as they are one of the many main antagonists of the series next to the notable World Chalice, Mech Knights, Guard Dragons, and many other archetypes. But for this video, help me celebrate the 4-year anniversary of this deck with a deep dive of Orcust. The history of Orcust. Orcust is a deck that consists of Dark Machine type monsters that deal with banishing their own monsters from the graveyard to gain advantage over time, while their Link monsters deal with shuffling the banished Machine type monsters back to the deck to use their own effects, either by setting an Orcust spell or trap card, sending a linked monster to the graveyard, or mass negation of linked monsters. The main boss monster of the deck, Dingrisu the Orcust Evening Star, was the first of its kind to use a link monster for its Exceed summon, with its effects of non-targeting removal or attaching a banished machine to it as material. At the beginning, Orcust wasn't always the best deck, as many other pieces were missing. This changed when Dark Neostorm was released on May 2nd, 2019, adding Dingrisu the Evening Star and Orcust Crescendo, along with Nightmare from Savage Strike earlier that year. The Legendary Hero decks released a week before Soul Fusion, releasing the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. From the pool of these cards, it pulled the deck from a rogue to a tier 1 near tier 0 status in an instant. By this time, Orcust was outclassing most of the competition, fighting amongst the top next to Thunder Dragons, Sky Strikers, and Salamangreats, creating one of the most controversial or most loved formats, a format called TOSS. TOSS stands for Thunder Dragon, Orcust, Sky Striker, and Salamangreat. As the deck reached near tier 0 status, about 62% of the tops in YCSs and national events, while it got cut down slightly with the limitations of Dark Grepher and its brother Armageddonite. The following next list, with the banning of Rusty Bardiche and the limitation of Trickstar Light Stage, some cards were also hit, so people had to use other resources to get into Nightmare Mermaid, thus starting the meme of any 2 monsters is Nightmare Mermaid. The deck is still a powerful tier 1 deck. It's still able to use many other engines to suffice its needs, with Nightmare Mermaid still being legal. Some decks were even running Instant Fusion alongside Elshtal Winda for a Floodgate type monster that Dingrisu could protect at the end phase of your turn. With the inclusion of Nightmare Mermaid in every deck, they had access to a whole Orcust package that consisted of Orcust Nightmare, Harp Horror, Symbol Skeleton, Galtea, and Dingrisu, followed with Orcust Crescendo for a free Omni Negate. Some decks popped up with this idea, like Lunalight Danger Orcust, originally piloted by Raphael Nevins. Other versions of the deck roamed around in the metascape, like Cyber Dragon Orcust and Dark Warrior Orcust. Later that year, the release of the Megatins, introducing cards that are played widespread in today's metagame, Nibiru the Primal Being, Dark Rule No More, and Dimensional Shifter, changed many aspects of what the deck could do. Being able to activate Nibiru when your opponent met the summoning conditions or later in the turn, along with chaining any Nightmare monster to effects, made it able to clear the board and not produce a token because the Nibiru can only resolve as much as possible. Sadly, a month after the Megatins release is where things changed. Nightmare Mermaid was banned on October 14th, 2019, making it harder for other decks to utilize a free Omni Negate through the Orcust engine. Throughout the October format, decks were battling it out every way possible. The versions of Orcust included cards such as Allure of Darkness, Into the Void, Dangers, and even a Sky Striker engine. The decks that came out of the rubble from this list were to form Sky Striker Orcust and Sky Striker True Draco, both decks that were based around different parts of each strategy. While one was more combo orientated, the other was more control orientated. Sky Striker Orcust was a powerhouse that utilized the consistency of Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, being able to search any Sky Striker card with the added bonus of drawing another card if you had 3 or more spells in your graveyard. Old and new techs. Throughout the years, there have been many techs for Orcust, from Armageddonite to the Scrap Engine. There are many cards that support both Dark and Machine decks that have helped seen Orcust's success. The most notable techs that we have seen throughout the years were a Trickstar engine to facilitate Nightmare Mermaid to the modern day Scrap Raptor being able to allow you to get multiple pieces through its own combo. When the Danger engine was at its peak, one of the techs people played was Mathematician, that could send a level 4 or lower monster from the deck to the graveyard. Pair this with Danger Jackalope or Danger Tsuchinoko, you can summon Levier the Sea Dragon if your level 4 or lower Orcust monster was banished. This helped if your Orcust monster gets DD crowed or later in the duel to get your combo facilitated again. On the other side, Dangers were heavily played as a 1-for-1 extender. You either get a free summon of a monster with the upside of drawing a card, or if you get its effects when it was discarded, you still get another effect. The main trio of Dangers that were ran were Danger Nessie, Danger Tsuchinoko, and Danger Jackalope. In 2019, the main text that Orcust ran was a small Sky Striker engine of 3 Engage, 1 Hornet Drone, 1 Shark Cannon, 1 Widow Anchor, and 1 Sky Striker Ace Kagari. This led the deck to become a hyper-consistent deck, thinning and drawing cards with Engage. Another card that was massively played was Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentron Sky Slasher, a level 8 extender that had a cost of banishing the top 8 cards of your deck face down to special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. Combining these cards together got you the most consistency, as it has the potential to get to your defensive cards and get rid of bricks from your deck. An engine that came around in 2020 was the Chaos engine. Chaos Space ended up being an okay replacement for getting certain cards in the graveyard by the cost of a discard. This allowed you to get cards like White Dragon Wyverbuster, Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, or Chaos Dragon Levianeer. Another Chaos monster entered the fray around the same time, being Chaos Valkyrie, a card that is somewhat like Wyverbuster or Collapse Serpent but can banish either attribute. Chaos Orcust was a great idea in theory and testing, but ended up not doing too well as the deck evolved past that to the current modern day Tearlament Orcust, a stronger version of which can make an easier headway through the meta. At the end of the day, Orcust is one of those decks that really has been in the hearts of many players, as we see many of the players wanting Orcust Harp Horror back at 1 to see what the deck can do. I have been playing Orcust ever since 2018, a little after December, so I have a lot of experience within the deck, and I've also tried so many other things to make the deck work. Currently, Orcust is on a Tearlament Orcust version that pretty much mills what you need via the Tearlament's effects, and you get to recycle stuff that you also want, like your Link monsters or your Dingrisus if you need, with the effects of the Tearlament fusion effects. Overall, Orcust is one of those decks that definitely has fallen out of the meta for way too long, and I feel like it's finally time that Orcust Harp Horror can come back to 1, and it's going to be safe, and I want to see a variety of decks want to try an Orcust engine. But I want to thank you all for watching. If you guys did enjoy, hit that like button down below and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and comment down below what you think about this type of content. Also, thanks to the editor who edited this video, because I am such a noob at Adobe and all the other programs outside of Photoshop. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. I hope you guys did enjoy, and see you guys in the next video.